everyone, Sandy here. Welcome to my channel. Here is another project with the Simple Stories, Simple Vintage Indigo Garden 12 by 12 paper collection that I received in my design team package from Country Craft Creations. This is another attempt to use up some more of my scraps left over from my other projects. This is my main project that I designed for the design team. This is the Bloom and Grow Landscape photo frame mini album that I designed. I used a lot of the paper here in this album. There is a walkthrough and tutorial video here on my channel for this. And then my first project that I made using up the scraps was this cute little file folder that you open up like a card, and it has little pockets. So there's a video in this also. So those are my two projects. So today I'm going to be making a card. And then I had another idea, if I have enough scraps, to use up, this is the packaging that came with the large chipboard pieces, the collection that I used up in that album. And this is the insert that goes in the package, and I had an idea of maybe we could make a tag out of this. So we're going to see about that with the scraps, and so stay tuned and let's get started for this tutorial. To make the card, I'm going to make an A2 card, which is a 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 card, standard card for the USA. And I have a piece from the scraps of the craft artisan cardstock that I've cut down to 11 inches by 4 1/4. I'm going to make this a bottom top fold card opening from the bottom. And I'm doing this without using the scoreboard to show you that if you don't have a scoreboard, you can still make cards and things. So line it up. You cut your piece 11 by 4 1/4 for your base. And the artisan cardstock makes a really great heavy base for cards. So you just line this up, hold it down, make sure it stays lined up, press down in the middle here. Take your bone folder and then press it out and get that crease. And you'll always have a nice, neat card base doing it that way. So that's our base for the card. Now then, we're going to build up on it with the scraps. I don't have a whole lot here. I think I'm going to take, I'll do like the pink. So this is about the right size. Maybe right there. So it is about the right size. Could be cut just a little bit. It is 4 1/4 by just a little over 5 1/2. So I'm going to take my trimmer. I'm just going to trim down a tiny bit, about 1/16 of an inch here. Make that, and let's check this one, 4 1/4, put that down 1/16 of an inch, so just that one was cut correct. Okay, so that's going to be the background base. Since I already had it, it's going to work out great. I'm going to just glue that on there. I am going to be using glue. This is the art glitter glue that you can get from Country Craft Creations. So just go ahead and glue this piece down, and that gives us our background color. And line that up. And I never can get them quite perfect. That's a little bit better. There we go. Well, it's a little too far down here on the bottom. So I'm going to pull it up real quick before it dries and scooch it over. That's a little better. Burnish that down. So there's our card base, like that. And then we're going to build up with some of the patterns if we can find something. Here's a nice black check. Backside was cut off, some of the cut apart, so that's not usable because it's not all there. Now then, I want to tear the edge. So if I tear towards me, the side that I won't finish, it gives me a white edge there. So just kind of tear that. This piece was about 2 inches wide to start with. So I'm going to go ahead and glue this on, even though it's too long. And I'm going to use my craft knife to trim it down. I'll line this up here at the top. And press that down. And I'm going to turn it over, take my ruler and my craft knife, and I'm just going to trim that off, just like that. And didn't quite get it close enough, so I'm going to lift this up and I'm going to recut that last little bit off. There we go. So now we have that on there. So let's see what else we've got that we can add a little more different color to. That's kind of pretty. So I'm going to put that in the center. See which parts of it I like the best. I like that really bright pink flower there. So I'm going to glue that. This is scrap. Again, this is the back of the branding strip. As I said in my other video, it's important to keep your scraps of your branding strips because you can always use that little piece of border on a project. So I'm going to line this up here, kind of like a piece of ribbon. Okay, and then flip that over. Be careful cutting here because of the fold of the card. Normally I wouldn't do that, but I wanted that direction and I wanted that flower in there. Okay, so that's pretty, and you could actually just stop right there. That's really a pretty card. On the inside, I think I'm going to put a liner piece. I think I want the green. I don't want the pink again. It's a different pink, so let's do the green. So we're going to cut this again. Let me get this trimmer, and we're going to make it. I'm going to make it 4 inches by 5 1/4. Okay, and that's just going to go inside. It's going to brighten it up on the inside, but it's light enough that you could write your message on too. And so it's a little smaller, and I am just going to put glue right here at the top. Since I want to keep the card flat enough for mailing without having a lot of thickness in it, I'm going to make my own little flower to go on it, and I use these punches that I have here in my stash. These are Tim Holtz. So I have 2 different flower ones, a leaf one, and then the little circle one. So I've already punched out from the scraps of paper. And then I also want to put something else on here, and I really wanted something with the butterflies, but I don't have any of that paper left in my scrap. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to use, because it's a card, it doesn't matter, it's not on your, with your photos, it doesn't matter if this is, you know, paper that's not photo safe or whatever, though it very well could be. It's just glossy. Okay, so I'm going to take my ruler and I am going to cut out, ruler and craft knife, and I'm going to cut down, whoops, don't need that much. Okay, cut down to get the butterflies section, and that piece, that image size should work just fine on this card. So I know this bottom piece here is off camera, but that's okay. It's just cutting it out. Okay, so then we lay this here, and we're going to cut that piece out. So always keep your cover sheet, because you never know, you might need something out of that. And for cards, you can use that on that. So now we have this, and then I have this piece of green here. And I'm going to glue this to the green. So this is a case of making cards and use what you've got left. So I'm going to line this up to where I want it on one side and on the bottom. So I only have to cut 2 sides. Okay, so take that ruler again, and I'm going to position it, kind of eyeballing it, to see how much green border to leave. Hope I didn't cut away too much. Oh, I didn't cut away enough. Okay, so we got it on the edge of the paper, and then we're just going to scoot it over a little bit. So we need to cut off a little more. Okay, that will work, I think. Maybe a little more right there. Okay, almost too much. So I'm going to straighten out with my scissors. And make these a little smaller. There we go. And I'm just going to use the scissors. I'm not so great with the small pieces and the craft knife. But with my big scissors, I do pretty good. Here we go. Okay. So we've got that with a little bit of green around it. I wanted a little more, but that's okay. I'm fine with that. So we're going to lay this right here over this piece, kind of like a layering. I'm going to glue that on. Kind of like there. Still got some of that tattered showing. And then we're going to work with our flowers. So if you have a flower shaping mat or any kind of foam thing that you have. I even have another piece of foam here somewhere that I sometimes use. And sorry about that. I'm getting my flower. This is one I've used for a long time. It was packaging in something, so any kind of foam works. And I have my shaping tool. If you don't have that, you can still shape flowers with your, just by pinching. It's okay. You don't have to have all these tools, but if you have them, you should certainly use them. Put that light away. So I'm taking the bigger ones. I'm going to turn them all upside down because I want the pink color. They're green on the back, most of them, except for the darker ones, and they're white. And there's my leaves. So first thing I'm going to do is each little petal, just kind of do a circle at the base of them, trying to get them curled up. So just quickly, you know, don't hold it down much, just kind of let them sit on that mat, and just take that tool, rounded tool, and do that. And do that on all of the petals. And I'm making, I know there's several pieces here, but I'm making only one flower because I kind of want it to kind of look similar. It's not going to be the same. There's no way I can make it the same, but my train of thought is making it kind of thick if I can. Okay, so we get all that done. Then we turn them back over, and with my bigger tool, I do it in the center. So it kind of pushes it down. Okay, and let's take our leaves, and I'm just going to turn them upside down as well. A little circle. And the base of my leaves. And then I'm going to turn them over and do the ends of them. Like that. Okay, so now let's put these flowers together. We take a big one, we put glue in the center on the finished side, take another big one and offset the petals some so that it's, yeah, every other one, kind of fill it in, the next big one. Okay, then I'm going to put it down, and I'm going to press down in there And kind of go around and round and round. And then some more glue. And then a lighter, small one. More glue. A darker, small one. Glue. The last one. I'm going to put this in here. I'm going to flip this over and push it down in the middle, kind of. And see if I can lay that in the center. Maybe I should have used pink. I don't know. So let's punch a pink one too. We'll leave that black one in there. I have plenty of scraps, so I'll punch another circle. Just kind of shape it maybe a little around the edge. Put some more glue on the black one. Put the pink one in. If I had some more of those enamel dots, I would have used that in there. But I'm just going to push this in. And then I'm just going to take my fingers and kind of bring it up. And you want to keep it kind of flat. You don't want it, you know, you can flatten it down to send it in the mail. So I've taken my little flower and I've pressed it down because I don't want it super thick. It's still kind of thick, but I think it's fine. The thickness, it's not over, I don't think, 1/4 inch. But anyway, I did add a bit of this Nouveau crystal glaze to the center, and I'm letting it, it's drying right now, but I'm going to go ahead and assemble the card. So I'm going to put glue. Yeah, I think I'm going to put the flower right here in this top corner of this add-on of the butterfly. So it's going to go about right there. Now once it dries, I will press it down more, and then the leaves, I'm going to tuck them underneath. And I did fold and pinch them. So I'm just putting glue right here on the base of their stem, and I'll show you just a second what I meant by folded them. I just took them and folded them in half to kind of get that little line in there, and then I open them back up. So I have 3 leaves that I'm going to put under here. Just being careful with this glossy, Nouveau glossy glaze that I added on there. And I think the other one goes underneath here. Okay, so that goes right there. So I like that. That's really pretty like that. I had thought about, I'm going to push that one in a little further, these two. Adding a bow right about there. Now this is a seam binding bow. If you tie it and press that center down, it's not going to be too thick. It's a nice soft ribbon that can easily go in an envelope. And I did spritz it with some water, crinkled it up, and just cut these in a dovetail at the bottom. So I think that I want that probably up in there. So that 3rd leaf I probably didn't need. Turn this away a little bit. I'm going to move this one. Kind of put it right in here. Okay. So that means I'm going to put my bow where that one leaf was. Right up in there with the flower. Okay. And that is my card. And I don't have a sentiment on it because I want to leave it blank until I know what I want, and I can always stamp happy birthday or happy anniversary or whatever I want on the front of the card. So that's my card. So next I'm going to clean this up a little bit, and then we'll work on that tag. Let me set this aside and let it dry. So let's see if we can make a tag out of this piece of cardboard that came, the insert that came out of a package. So this is the way it comes. I'm going to flip this over, and I'm going to glue down this top flap, or you could just cut it off if you wanted to, but I'm going to go ahead and double it up and glue this down and burnish that. See, we've already got our tag opening right there. Now we need to decide if we want to trim it down. I think that it's probably a little wider than I would want. So I'm going to make it about let's make it about a 3-inch tag. So I'm going to put this at 1.5, and I'm going to mark with pencil where I want it on the 3-inch. And I'm just going to, again, take my ruler and line it up straight. And use my craft knife and cut that off right there. So we don't need that. Turn this around, line it up straight, keeping the length. Okay. And then let's take the 1/2-inch corner rounder and round the corners. And then, oh, I don't have that centered right. La-di-da. Okay, I've got 3/4 there, so I need to redo this one. 3/4. Mismeasured. 3/4 is right there. When it's centered, bet you all noticed that. And I didn't even see it. Okay. Straight there. And we're going to sure it's straight here. Okay, and cut. No problem. Just make it a little more narrow. It's fine. Round that corner again on the bottom. Now then, we need to make our tag shape here at the top. Now, I have the chomper that does angles. And I've had people tell me, well, that's not really a tag shape. But for me, it's a tag shape, and I like it. So, you know, I like a not so deep angle. So there's that, like that. So that's, to me, that's a tag shape. So that's what I'm going to go with. And now we're ready to put paper on it. So my finished size ended up being just under 2 3/4, so 2 5/8, and it's 5 7/8 long, and that's the length that it already was. So we need to look at our papers that we have left over and go ahead and cover that. Now it's going to be a little difficult with this piece here. I mean, we could punch a hole in it. I like that angle. I mean, that shape. So I'm thinking of just using patterned paper from here down. So that's what I'm thinking. So let's see what that looks like. And we haven't used the yellow much. So I'm going to put glue. What am I doing? I'm crazy. I'm going to use my craft knife to cut it down to the size I want. I know. I might goof that up, but I think I can, instead of measuring. Yeah, okay, here we go. So I'm going to lay this on here, right up to that lip edge, where we folded it over, and line it up down here on the side, so this side won't have to be cut. As long as I've got it straight. There we go. Burnish that down, then I'm going to turn it over, and I'm going to cut here. And then cut here. So that paper is on there like that. And then I'm going to re-round it. So So the pattern paper, or the solid from the basic kit. It's got the rounded corner. Okay. Now you may not like this white up in here. I'm going to add a little strip, I think, right here of the pink check. Again, this is from the strip branding strip. So I'm just going to do it right there. Flip that over and trim that off. Let's see what we've got here. We've got this branding strip. And I like that. I like that butterfly piece that you can only see a little bit of it. So I'm going to glue it on this side. Whoops. Position it where I want it. Right there. Now you could just wrap that around if you wanted to. It won't fill it up completely, but you can put more paper on the back. So yeah, I'm going to do that. I'm going to just wrap it around and glue those ends. And burnish that. So we'll put another piece of paper back here as we're working on it. So we got that, like that. Let's see what else we've got. We've got this torn piece left. With a little bit of ragginess on it. I like that. So I'm going to put glue on the back of this. Position that over that. And that one does meet. So we'll glue that on the back. Okay, so maybe we'll look for some lace. I think, do I want any of that? No. I like how it's turning out though, just different layers. I like that pink there, so I'm going to put glue over there. Oops. Okay, lay that there. And I think I'm probably going to look for some lace, maybe some buttons. I like buttons on my tags. So I'm also going to ink. So I wonder how ink will take to that. Let's find Minto ink. I'm going to grab my StazOn. What is that, brown? I'm just inking the edges. Letting a little bit of it come over the edge there on the corners. kind of make that, finish that up there on the top. Okay, a little inking there. Okay, so I'm going to pause a minute and look for some lace that I want to use. Okay, so I found some lace I like. I think I like with this. I'm going to put it about right here, using some score tape to hold it on the front. I'm not going to glue it completely down on the front. I'm going to line this up here, that edge right there. Then I'm going to bring this around and put some tape on the edges here to hold it. Okay, and bring it over. Pull it kind of tight. There we go. Remember, I'm going to cover this back up. So we have that. And then, I don't know, I have this eyelash trim. Thinking about wrapping it around, maybe? I don't know. Let's see. This is one of those things you just have to do it and then decide, do you like it or not? It's about tying it, kind of. I'll trim it off here. Kind of strings down around everywhere, but I don't know, I kind of like it. So I'm going to clean that off a little bit. Then I have some flowers. Thinking about putting right here in this yellow part up here, or this light green. So I use my art glitter glue for my flowers. These are from my stash. Put those there. Put one up here, right in, maybe up here. I think I'll do 3. And that's right, I was going to look for some buttons too, because I want to use some buttons. This one's got a few little leaves on it. So I like that. That right there hangs down. A lot of that strings down once you, after you cut it, but it'll go away. Just kind of scoop it up and put it in the trash. Okay, there's that. And then I have my ribbons. I have bits and pieces of ribbon here. I have a little bit of the black, thinking about that I crinkled up, threading it through the top here. See how that looks. Tie that in a knot. Crinkle that up. We'll work with that. A little bit of pink. I could always cut off some more, but these are little scraps that are left, and I thought, well, hey, I might as well see if they work. Just pull that. Then I have this really pretty sheer one. Pull that one through. It's a little stiffer. Don't know. It may not tie really well. Here, let's see. Pull it down. It's going to need to go in a knot. And it will help to hold any of the others in place. Okay. Of course, I'm going to trim that down. Like lots of ribbon in a tag. And I'm going to take this little bit of pink and I'm going to tie it in a knot. Just tuck it in here. Glue it in with the flowers and the lace. That's where a button will go, probably. So I'm going to just tuck that up in there. Let that dry. And these will be trimmed down. This turned out really pretty, I think. I like that little bit of black down there with the black ribbon up here. And here on the back, I cut out this piece. And that's just going to fit right there. So you could write a sentiment or message, journal back there on that. So let's just glue that down now. This is from the scrap too. And it covers all of that up and finishes it up. Oh, and then I had this cording that I liked. Let's see if I put that in there or not. Of course, it's way too long. And I'll trim these off the same. Okay, and tie it in a knot because it's going to need to be tied. Cut it off short, up to the knot a little bit. I think I want some more pink seam binding ribbon, so cut off some of that, and then I'll show you how I crinkle that up. So I just take it in my hand, palm of my hand, and my little water bottle spritzer, and I just spritz it and then squish it up. It doesn't get it real wet, but enough to start wrinkling it, and I can still use it pretty much right away. Just kind of let it dry for a little bit. So I'm loving how the tag's turning out. So I'm going to go pause while this dries a little bit, pause and look for some vintage buttons. I've picked out 4 vintage buttons with the thread in them. I'm going to put one right here on the seam binding bow. As soon as I get some glue to come out, where's my pen? Got a little clog going on. There we go. So I'll put that one right there. And then I have 3 to go here. So I'm going to put, let's see, 1 up here, top, 1 in the middle, and then 1 right here. Okay. Here we go. So like that, and then this is almost dry where I can put it in. So hold on a second on that. Now I just need to thread this through and then trim the ribbons to the length I want. Thread this one right here. I just wanted an extra pink ribbon in there. I'm going to bring it to the side of this cord here. Bring it up. And tie that one in right about there. Pull it really tight and knot it so it doesn't come loose. Okay, so there's that. Now that I'm ready to do some trimming on the ribbons. And I'm going to dovetail this one, which means you fold it in half, and from the fold, almost told you wrong, fold it in half, and then from the fold cut up, and then that gives you that little dovetail V there. So I'm going to do this other one the same. Fold it in half lengthwise, and then cut from the fold up or down, whichever way, at an angle, so that I did that one wrong. Refold it. I think it'll be okay. You want your V at the fold, and you cut out towards the other way. There we go. So I'll trim this one just a little bit more to make it evenish. There we go. And these I'm just going to trim kind of at an angle. They will ravel some, and that's okay. A tag, I don't have any problems with raveling on a tag. So there's that one's still too long. Didn't cut that one. Cut it at an angle. Okay. Here is my finished tag. From looking at it, you wouldn't know that it was made from a recycled cardboard or chipboard from a insert of a packaging. I love how it turned out. I hope that you enjoyed it and that you will have a go at making a tag. These make wonderful gifts, or something to give with a gift. Be sure you check out countrycraftcreations.com for scrapbooking supplies, paper crafting supplies. Again, this is the Simple Stories, Simple Vintage Indigo Garden paper collection, the 12 by 12, and then some items from my stash like the buttons and some of the ribbons and the flowers and the lace. Just go through your stash and see what you've got and start creating. And give me a thumbs up down below if you like my video, and also subscribe if you haven't already, and click the bell so that you'll know when my next project is up. Thanks everybody. Bye bye.